Good morning, kids. Today we're checking out a brand new video from Popcross Studios about turning more SCPs into superheroes. Now, I haven't really seen the other parts, but hey, like that's gonna stop me from seeing this guy's amazing art. So, let's hop in and enjoy the show.
It's been almost exactly 2 years since I last did an episode in my series of SCPs as superheroes, and that is a pivotal series in the history of this channel, because it was the first time my audience convinced me to look into and work with SCPs as a topic, and now that's ballooned into being one of my absolute favorite things to work with on this channel, from turning Pokemon into SCPs, to turning SCPs into dragons or various cartoon and video game characters into SCPs. It's all been super fun to work with, but as a bunch of people have pointed out, we are long overdue to return back to that original series. So I've gone back through suggestions from other SCPs people have recommended I work with, and today we finally return to SCPs as superheroes. Let's go! Hit like!
Ooh, I wonder if we'll get the Plague Doctor.
Subscribe!
Unless that was already
done. But either
done.
way, enjoy the show.
I found myself in the odd position this week of going through hero case files for the first time in quite a while, and it reminded me of how much my life at the Superhero Corrections and Placement Foundation has changed in the last 2 years. I am now at Security Clearance Level 4 and am the head of a whole department that had not yet existed when I began working with the Foundation. Of course, being the leader of the new Multiversal Hero Outreach Program has given me a different set of responsibilities, but this does still at times require me to brush up on information of heroes from my own world. One of the primary case files I inspected was the updated logs on Hero 1471, known only by the name Malova. She is a hero who goes about her work in a very different and unique way to other heroes on our registry. She has an app available on any modern app store, and those who download it will be on her radar for protection. Once the app is downloaded, it will not appear in a traditional way as an app on your phone, but will run in the background and will be actively monitored by Malova. It will then alert her if the person carrying the phone becomes overwhelmed by feelings of fear and danger. She will then be able to teleport herself within 45 feet of your location and can use her elevated speed, strength, and hound-like senses to fight off what or whomever may be threatening you. There is currently no evidence that she leads a normal life outside of her hero work. The Foundation was able to bring her in for an interview once, though this was only possible by utilizing her application. A D-Class personnel member, that is to say a death row inmate the Foundation brings in for our registered heroes to use as live foes to train against, was given a cell phone with the app downloaded on it, then was locked in a room with Hero Case 049, also known as Depestulus.
There he is.
Technically he is a hero. Depestulus has a grim reputation for killing any criminal, no matter how great or small their illegal act may have been, and while we were ready to step in if he was evidently about to kill the D-Class, this was quickly proven to be unnecessary, as the fear the subject was feeling was more than enough to summon Malova. We were tempted to allow her to do battle with Depestulus, as she defended the D-Class that had summoned her, but deemed this could set a bad first impression between her and the Foundation, so quickly operatives stepped in to remove her and the D-Class she was protecting from Depestulus's presence. She was then properly registered and interviewed about where she had acquired her powers. She claimed to have no memory of her origin, simply that she had been a hero for the last 5 years and went wherever she felt called. Even while sitting in that meeting, she said she could sense 3 people who had her app and were in danger. She apparently never sleeps or eats or does any normal human activities. All she does is hop from person to person, rescuing those in need. When she is not needed, she simply rests in an empty void until she senses that she is needed again to protect some lonely and scared person. A currently running theory is that Malova is not a naturally born human, but is in fact some sort of program that can spawn a sentient being. Essentially, that her very existence is brought upon by the app itself. Though the way this could be possible is still unclear, as is who may have created the app in the first place. That information could be useful considering what I'm currently looking for, but currently we have no further leads that I could follow.
Wait, currently looking for what? Or who? Well, gonna go ahead and say it. Lovely design. And very, very lovely.
The Foundation has a wide range of relationships with the heroes on our registry, in some cases very positive, and in others much more strained, or sometimes outright hostile. I was reminded in
Yeah.
my research of our relationship with Hero Case 4511, or Steel Swine, which tends to be a relationship that straddles the line between cooperative and complicated. He is a hero who was first discovered running his own operations out of an abandoned meatpacking factory in Chicago. It seems the majority of people in the surrounding area knew who he was, as he regularly thwarted any villain activity that was too dangerous for the police or lower-tier heroes of the region.
Very mechanical looking.
The one caveat was he would only continue his work if he was provided with the various items he requested. Because of this, a sort of volunteer cult arose around him. He'd essentially have civilian minions who do whatever bidding he deemed. Stranger still, the way he'd communicate was not by speaking, but instead by spawning slips of paper from within his metal armor. So long as the demands on the paper were met, he would continue to protect those who needed him. His powers included strength great enough to lift...
Yeah, now I remember this SCP. Damn, that was actually one of the weirder ones. It was literally just an iron pig that would spit out a piece of paper with a demand. And yeah, I don't remember much, but I remember it.
Lift an 18-wheeler with a single hand, as well as the ability to project flames from his mouth, eyes, chest, and forearms. It seems his armor can be damaged and scratched, but even in conflicts against high-level threat villains, he has never been witnessed to be genuinely injured. It is also unclear if he in fact has a human form beneath his armor. He has never been seen out of it, and looking through the slats in the armor only seems to show a raging inferno of flames within. Even still, with all his strange mysteries and quirks, Steel Swine was still clearly a force for good in his region. Eventually, though, a less demanding hero was placed in his area of Chicago by our Foundation, and Steel Swine was brought in to attempt to interview him and consider new placement. He was asked many questions, but never responded directly to any of them. The first communication he had for us was simply to eject another slip of paper, on which was the words, "A dwelling of my own." After some debate, it was deemed that he was asking for a permanent residence in the Foundation if he was to do any work alongside us. He was provided with Foundation housing, and soon after produced a new slip, on which was the same message as before, but followed by the word, "satisfied." We then started a system of providing him with the things he asked in exchange for sending him against villains that were too dangerous.
No, I actually do like that. It's like, a dwelling of my own. A dwelling of my own. Satisfied. I don't know why, but that just tickles me for some reason.
For the heroes of a certain threatened region. This worked well in the early days, but over time Steel Swine's demands grew more frustrating and difficult to keep up with. His demands have included multiple drums of oil that he drinks, wheelbarrows full of metal, live pigs that he kills and consumes by opening his chest plate and sticking them inside, D-class personnel that he uses as a footrest whenever he sits down, and even multiple pet dogs that he never picks up after. There has been conversation about whether he could be moved out of Foundation housing if his demands grow too bizarre or difficult to satiate, but for the time being it is undeniable that his strengths and skill sets are a major asset to have available for Foundation use.
I think if you just piss him off, he'll leave on his own. I think that was the case with like the actual Swine God. Like, it got pissed off and just pop, 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 when no one was looking.
Now admitted...
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser.
Hold on, folks. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Admittedly, Steel Swine was not a...
The doorman. I actually remember this one. The guy will pretty much just appear at any door that you have access to and knock. And the only way to get rid of him is to not open that door. Literally open any door you can, but not his.
A hero whose case file I should have taken the time to go through, as it was off-theme of the information I was trying to acquire, so I quickly moved on to Hero Case 303, who is occasionally referred to on public internet forums as the Doorman, though we at the Foundation refer to him as the Fear Dealer. He is a hero who will take his work too far and assassinate those who do not heed his warnings, but in most cases he will in fact be able to stop crimes before they ever occur. Somewhat similar to Malova's ability to transport herself to those in need of her protection, the Fear Dealer is able to sense when someone within 50 miles of himself has the direct intent to commit a crime. He will then materialize directly on the other side of some kind of door or divider to them and breathe slowly in a wheezing voice. His presence then emits a field that causes those with imminent ill intent to become overwhelmed with fear and anxiety over their coming criminal act.
Now
They will
you
see
can't.
visions of themselves attempting the crime and it going horribly wrong, often even resulting in their death or dismemberment. Additionally, this field he creates will also cause electronic equipment to malfunction, so if there were particular tools or gadgets required by the criminal for the act they were intending,
Like a
those
hackle.
would no longer be reliable as assets. In roughly 98% of cases in which the fear dealer has reportedly appeared near a pending criminal, they have simply reconsidered and decided against partaking in their criminal act, which is why little effort has been made to bring Hero 303 in. However, there are cases in which the fear dealt out to a criminal is not enough to dissuade them, and this seems to make the fear dealer very angry. If the criminal does not heed the silent but dreadful warning, and they commence with their criminal act, the fear dealer will utilize a set of fang-like blades to impale and brutalize his victim. In combat, he seems to have little in the way of miraculous abilities, but he has never been seen to be injured, and his weapons, while looking fairly rudimentary in build, have shown able to pierce through any material they impact. An odd addition to this hero's actions is that he seems to have a slight penchant for stealing himself, though not in any harmful capacity. Those who have encountered the fear dealer and lived have later stated that oddly specific items have been taken from their home or place of work upon his departure, such as a container of powdered coffee creamer, a stopwatch, tools from a set of surgical equipment, and even a small selection of chemicals from a chemistry teacher who confessed to be considering making methamphetamines prior to his encounter with the hero.
That doesn't make sense.
If his ratio of criminals stopped to criminals slain does increase, we will likely have to bring in the fear dealer for some sort of correction. But for the time being, he is generally considered to be one of the more effective heroes in terms of stopping crimes while keeping collateral damage to a minimum.
Yeah, but then that gives you the question of why is he stealing shit? Like, what's he gonna do with that? Is it just meant to be a memento? It doesn't make sense.
Now, the primary reason I was going back through hero cases in the first place was to find possibly useful information on teleportation for our multiverse traversal consultant, or Mitzi, as he has abbreviated the term. In exchange for free reign to teleport in and out of our dimension as he pleases, this consultant has been providing us with significantly useful information about the multiverse and the various realms of it he has visited and done his own hero work in. He has even invented multiverse jumping wristwatch devices, provided me with one, and is attempting to create a version that can not only transport a wearer to the nexus point of a given dimension, but to any specific location within that dimension.
Ooh.
To attempt this, he requires information on the methods different heroes use for teleportation.
That could be useful.
I still find this consultant to be an incredibly infuriating man to interact with, but my reluctant partnership with him has garnered me the elevated status position I hold in the Foundation today, so I suppose I am somewhat grateful to have him as an ally.
Aw, if that ain't the sweetest thing you ever did say about me, Apple Squash, I'm somewhat grateful to know you too.
Sharp? Are you listening to me through my multiverse jumping wristwatch?
I told ya, it's called the Mujwawood, but, you know, maybe I didn't tell you that I updated these things so you can communicate through them to other folks who's got one. Or, you know, so I can listen into whatever it is you're talking about. My bad, but hey, you got anything else on those teleporting heroes yet or what?
I was just...
Wait, so Benny? Okay, I'm just going on with this.
Recording my log on the final one I researched. Her name is Iris Thompson, Hero Case 105. She has the very unique teleportation ability to transport herself through photographs she has taken of any location. Of course, she does not readily use this ability for teleportation purposes, but it is technically a possibility for her. More commonly, how she will use her ability is that she wears a visor with a camera on it that is directly linked to a tablet she carries with her. On it are thousands of photographs she has taken and cataloged, instantly updated with any new pictures she takes. Thanks to her abilities, the pictures will appear to her not as still images, but as if they are live-streamed feeds of the location that was photographed. So she can see whatever is happening in that location.
And make some
Further
doorways.
still, she can stick her hand, face, or even objects she carries back through the tablet and photo to then interact with anything currently in the place where the picture was taken from. For instance, if she took pictures of all the exits to a villain hideout, then other heroes stormed the facility and the villains attempted to flee, she could see through her photos which exit they were fleeing out of, stick her hand through the photo with a stun gun, and shoot the criminals to stop them in their escape. Unfortunately, to use this as a full-body teleportation effect, she would need to carry a screen or have a printed photo large enough for her to step her full body through. Because of this, studying her may be a dead end in terms of what you are after.
Yeah, fair
Not
enough.
a dead
Okay,
end.
you tried. But, hey, if she was on a bus and it was moving and she took a picture of the inside of the bus, but it also showed part of the outside of the bus, would the picture keep showing the inside of that bus to her, wherever it went, or would it be stopped in the place on the street where the bus was driving at the time the picture was taken?
Ooh.
I'm actually not certain.
And speaking of that, why does it even move with the Earth? I mean, the Earth is always moving, right? So if a photo locks into the location that the picture was taken, why wouldn't every picture she has just be showing out of space a couple seconds after it was taken?
Sharp, I don't have any further
Damn it, Benny.
information.
Or what if she took, like, a super up-close picture of a turtle's face? Like, so close you couldn't see anything else in the picture. Would the turtle eventually walk out of the picture and just reveal whatever was behind it? Or could she just always be able to reach through that photo and pet that one turtle on the head?
Oh, how do I hang this thing up?
Oh, well, thank you, Benny, for being a part of this. Honestly, not a bad power. Could be super useful.
I am so glad I finally returned to this series. This was super fun, and I'd love more suggestions for other SCPs I could turn into superheroes or villains.
This
Also,
is
if you want
nice.
more out of this episode, on Wednesday on the Popcross Studios Patreon, I will be making a Design Notes podcast episode specifically about my design and writing process for this video. And I'll probably go back a bit through the older episodes as well. Plus, patrons already have access to the high-resolution art and the inks from this episode to download for anyone that wants to color this stuff themselves. Patreon will be linked in the cards and description. But also, if you're new to this channel and you want more SCPs stuff, you could go back to the old SCPs as Superheroes episodes,
That's a
or
laughing
you might
man.
want to check out my Pokemon as SCP series. I'll link the compilation video of the first 6 episodes. That's easily my most popular SCP series currently.
Definitely.
But besides that, that's all for today, except of course for ending this video on some kind of positive or inspiring note, and the thought I want to leave people with today is a line I recently read from a man named Stephen Bartlett, but it's a line I've heard many times before, and I think it's so great, and I've probably said it before on here, but it's that you should never forget that your relationship with yourself sets the tone for your relationship with everyone else in your life. And at any time, you can actively start improving your relationship with yourself. Even just thinking back to the person I was and the relationship I had with myself 2 years ago when I started making the SCPs as Superhero series, admittedly, I went through a pretty dark period around then, but it forced me to make some internal and external changes in my life, and oh my gosh, I am so much happier now, and I would be willing to bet that most of the people that are still in my life would say that I'm significantly more fun to be around now. Not that I was awful before, but just I'm a lot
You're
better
just
now.
better.
I hope that's inspiring, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next episode on Friday. Goodbye.
Well, folks, that's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link will be in the description below, and I'll see all of you folks next time when we flick on. Peace out.